What's going on, everybody? I am back to break down the 6-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings in FanDuel. Excited to get into the breakdown, guys. Giving you guys the top place to get in that money tonight. As always, don't forget to stay tuned at the end of the video for my lock of the night. Hopefully, last night you played Josh Hart. Lock of the night going off again. Certainly would have been very happy with his performance. Ending up with that fire next to his name on DraftKings. Good performance over there on FanDuel as well. So looking to keep it going tonight with the lock of the night. And quick reminder, if you are getting very serious about NBA DFS, I would highly recommend my NBA DFS premium packages. I offer a lot of free content on the channel, but I do also offer a premium package over here on Patreon. I'm also offering a holiday discount on the Discord package. You can hop in the Discord with some like-minded individuals, people that can chat it up, give you some advice, which is included with the KJK DFS NBA package. If you're getting serious, like I said, you get a lot more with that. Premium NBA projections, NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, core plays, and, of course, the NBA Discord chat access. So, if you are interested, guys, go ahead and sign up on that today. Link below in the description, patreon.com/KJK_DFS. You also go check out the channel sponsor, Parlay Play. Parlay Play is a player props format that's also linked down below in the description. When you deposit today, they will instantaneously match your first deposit up to $50 when you use the code KJK003. You can also just go ahead and click on that link down below in the description, the Parlay Play pick link, and you'll get that bonus using my referral link. So check them out, guys. You can win 2 times your money, 3 times your money, 4 times your money. Or I shouldn't say that. 2 picks, 3 picks, 4 picks, and you can win 3 times, 6 times, or 10 times your money. So gotta be careful with your money. A lot more money to be won over there on Parlay Play. It'll also be giving out some picks later on the live stream tonight for the KJK DFS Parlay Play Bankroll Challenge. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and start getting into this slate today. As always, we'll do a little bit of a game-by-game breakdown. And we'll start with DraftKings and then go over to FanDuel, figure out our differences, kind of figure out the pace of the games, all that stuff, go through the injury news here on DraftKings, and then make sure we wrap things up with FanDuel so that those of you that are playing on both websites, you have my picks for both. So, first game on the slate, we have Cleveland taking on Boston. As far as the total in this game comes in with a 211.5 over-under with a 6-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics, so expected to stay close. Not exactly the highest scoring game in the world, however, with a 211.5 over-under, but when you look at the injury news right now, Jaren Allen is out. Evan Mobley is out. So that should certainly give some more minutes away to a Dean Wade, a Kevin Love, with there being no Evan Mobley. And as far as Jared Allen, obviously, that's going to increase Kevin Love's usage in minutes even more. So Kevin Love, Lauri Markkanen are 2 guys that really standing out to me in the upper 5 to 6K range here. That should have a lot of usage, a lot of upside. Kevin Love specifically, he just hasn't seen a lot of minutes. If he gets any sort of a tick up in minutes, which I think they're going to be kind of forced to do here, he becomes an absolute smash play. So he's someone that's certainly going to grade out as a fantastic play for me on this slate tonight, and someone that I would certainly be prioritizing in your lineups. The other guy, like we talked about, is Dean Wade. The problem with Dean Wade is he's not exactly the top fantasy point per minute producer, but fact of the matter is he's going to have to play a lot of minutes. Looking at his per minute production of the season, he's been putting up about 0.64 DK points per minute. He is only down to 3.8 though, so he's a lot cheaper than some of these other guys we talked about if you want to go there. And lastly, don't forget about Cedi Osman. Cedi Osman at 4.5, another guy should be forcing a lot of minutes. Last time he played 27, he put up 39 DraftKings points. So this Cleveland squad, being shorthanded, could provide some pretty good value for us. And then, of course, don't forget the pay-up options in Darius Garland, Ricky Rubio. Although they are not directly correlated with the center position because they're guards, you should just still flow to them. Upside should still flow to them because someone has to score. You take Jared out of the equation, you take Evan Mobley out of the equation, and these guys are obviously going to get a lot more shot volume, a lot more opportunity to produce. So the Cleveland side, certainly worth monitoring and targeting on this slate tonight. On the Celtics side, they're starting to get a lot more healthy. I don't really think anyone's out in this game. You're dealing with some Robert Williams injuries. Josh Richardson is listed as out, so that's a little bit interesting. Maybe Marcus Smart, Aaron Nesmith getting some more runs, but I think, honestly, that's going to directly impact Peyton Pritchard, who has been producing at a very high rate. He hasn't played the most amount of minutes, 28, 22. But with there being no Josh Richardson, if he's able to get up more towards that 28, that 30-minute range, he's someone that could absolutely smash that price tag. So that's certainly worth monitoring. But also Marcus Smart, much less worry about Richardson kind of stealing his minutes in production. So someone you can be looking to. Same rule can be said for a Dennis Schroeder, who's priced up a little bit more appropriately, but still going to be a great play. I would like him a lot more, obviously, with Jaylen Brown being back. It is going to be the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum show, so they're obviously the top 2 pay-up options. It's just a matter of, do we want to pay up for these guys in this slow-paced game? We'll talk about that a little bit as we continue along the slate with some other pay-up options. Orlando taking on Atlanta. It's going to be the second game on the slate. Trae Young is listed as out in this one, taking on an Orlando squad that has been absolutely terrible defensively. So Lou Williams, Bogdanovic, Kevin Huerter, and Cam Reddish should all get more minutes, more usage. So certainly worth monitoring. The same can be said for Clint Capella being out. Okongwu made a season debut last time out. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And DeGorgie Jang is going to be the backup. So those two guys obviously going to get a big bump up. But the main guy I'd be looking to is John Collins. John Collins is going to get a tremendous bump here. Like I said, Orlando's been terrible defensively all season long. And John Collins should absolutely smash in this spot. Looking at my defensive half court and putbacks tool over here on my Patreon content, I can see that Orlando ranks dead last in the league in points per possession rank, 30th overall. So they're certainly someone that we're going to want to target. And like I said, John Collins should have a lot more rebounding upside, a lot more scoring upside, with there being no Clint Capella in this one. So he's going to make for a fantastic play. Kevin Huerter going to make for a fantastic play, with there being no Trae Young. This is a team you're going to want to stack up on and really want some exposure to in this spot, in my opinion. Bogdanovic is listed as questionable. He is more so probable, so expect him to be go once again. Great spot. DeLon Wright, the point guard, with there being no Trae Young now, going to be a great play. All these Atlanta guys really going to offer some value. There's no Danilo Gallinari. That's going to solidify the minutes for Cam Reddish. TLC, Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot is also listed as questionable here. So if he's out, even better. Cam Reddish locked in. Bogdanovic locked in. Kevin Huerter's already pretty much locked in. He is, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. But these other guys could really become interesting plays. And the same for Lou Williams. If there's no Luwawu-Cabarrot, he's going to become a much better play as well. So the Atlanta side, I have a feeling I'm going to have a lot of exposure to. You're really going to want to prioritize Wendell Carter Jr. and Cole Anthony, both listed as questionable on the Orlando side. So that's certainly some big pieces of news. They carry a lot of minutes if they are out. Obviously going to be a big bump up for a lot of these Orlando guys on the other side. Okeke, Gary Harris, both guys that are playing a lot of minutes, both guys you can be targeting in this game. And like I said, the defense just really isn't there in this game. Looking at the overall over-under this game, it comes with a 215.5 over-under with an 8.5 point spread in favor of Atlanta. So Atlanta's expected to win this one fairly easily, but I still think there's plenty of value to be had across the board. Robin Lopez, all the way down to 4.6, has been playing in the mid to upper 30s, with there being no Mo Bamba, no Wendell Carter Jr. So like I said, that Wendell Carter Jr. news is huge. If Wendell Carter Jr. and Cole Anthony are in, they both become huge priorities as well. If they're out, Franz Wagner becomes one of the best usage guys on the slate. So I have a feeling this game is going to offer lots of value, lots of upside, lots of interest in that one. Toronto taking on Chicago. It's the next game on the slate. Zach LaVine is listed as questionable in this one. He is more so doubtful, so expect him to be out, continue to be out on the Bulls side. That's going to make, obviously, Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan much better plays, more on-ball handling responsibilities. We saw Lonzo Ball go out there and drop a 50 spot last time out. I think we could see some more of the same. Same goes for DeMar DeRozan. Same goes for Nikola Vucevic, although he's not directly correlated to these guards, and his price tag continues to go up even though his production hasn't been that great. So that's a little bit scary for me. I think I'd much rather play DeMar DeRozan at 10-2 than Vucevic at 10-1, just because, like I said, it's directly correlated. The Toronto side just got hit with a lot of injury news. There's no Van Vliet. There's no Siakam. There's no Scotty Barnes. So what does that mean? A bunch of usage is going around. So we're going to be looking to a lot of Chris Boucher, OG Anunoby, Yuta Wannabe in this Toronto Raptors rotation. So OG Anunoby, 7'9", going to become a tremendous play. High priority for you in your lineups. Once again, a team dealing with a lot of injuries. Chris Boucher, absolute smash play in this spot now. Chris Boucher has always been a really good fantasy point producer. He's been somewhat capped in his minutes. You take out all these guys in the equation, I don't think they're going to have a choice but to run Chris Boucher out there for a bunch of minutes. And for that reason, he's going to become a phenomenal play here. Someone that I would certainly be looking to a lot in my fantasy lineups, and someone that I think you guys should be looking to as well, because they're just too short-handed here, guys. I mean, looking at this Toronto Raptors team, on their side of things, the expected starting lineup: Brandon Goodwin, Svi Mikhailuk, Yuta Wannabe, OG Anunoby, Chris Boucher. They don't really have anyone. So anyone that's actually listed on the DraftKings lobby, which it's not too much, Kem Birch, Isaac Bonga, OG Anunoby, Yuta Wannabe, Svi Mikhailuk, similar to that Atlanta game. I mean, these guys are going to be great plays. You're going to want to be prioritizing them in your lineups. Yuta Wannabe, Svi Mikhailuk. Svi Mikhailuk at 3.8. That's way too cheap for a guy who can really shoot the three ball well. His usage is going to be through the roof. Grades out as one of the best plays on the slate for me. And lastly, DJ Wilson, all the way down to a $3K salary now on DraftKings. Phenomenal value. These guys are grading out as some of the best plays on the slate to me, hands down. I would not overthink it. And I certainly think that they're worth getting quite a bit of exposure to in this spot if I can find Mr. DJ Wilson. And I'm not seeing him pop up here. Is he not listed in the DK lobby? That's the other part of this equation, is are these guys available? I'm not seeing him pop up. So that's strange. I have the whole game selected. He's not listed. So that's something to keep your eyes on, I guess. But yeah, regardless, all these guys that are listed on, with a salary going to be fantastic plays. Svi Mikhailuk, you don't want to be. Svi Mikhailuk's putting up 0.75 DK points per minute. You don't want to be putting up 0.86 DK points per minute. They're both way, way too cheap. Chris Boucher at 5-1 stands out as one of the best plays on the slate to me. Like I said, certainly going to be a fantastic play. And the amount of value going around on the slate is going to be wild. So the pay-up options, I would say, are going to be priorities for us, and we'll talk about that as we go along. Houston taking on Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo continues to be listed out. Bobby Portis is out as well. That's going to make Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday great pay-up options for us in this Milwaukee side of things. In a game ticket on a Houston squad that does not scare us whatsoever defensively as far as the total in this game. This game comes in with a 225 over-under with a 9.5-point spread in favor of Milwaukee. So the only thing that could maybe limit their upside is the blowout, but Holiday, Chris Middleton, both absolute smash plays. Christian Wood's listed as questionable. If he's good to go, he should continue to see a lot of usage, a lot of minutes, so would like him quite a bit. If he is indeed out, obviously that's going to give a big bump up to Daniel Tice and Sagan, and you're also going to be taking a much harder look to guys like Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, Armani Brooks. They should all get a big bump up in their amount of usage as well. Mainly Jayshawn Tate, Eric Gordon, getting a lot of minutes. You could also be taking a hard look to a Garrison Matthews, although he's not directly correlated as a big man. Playing a lot of minutes, producing on a high rate. They're going to need more minutes out of these guys. KJ Martin at 4.5, same can be said for him. With there being no Bobby Portis, I do think that DeMarcus Cousins at 4.4 is a very intriguing value play. He played 27 minutes last month, put up 41 DraftKings points. This guy's an absolute fantasy point per minute beast. If he doesn't get the minutes, taking on his former team in Houston, you got a little bit of a revenge narrative here. So I do think DeMarcus Cousins is a pretty great value play as well. Not that we're short of any value on this slate, because this is wild, guys. We're going to have so much value. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, great pay-up options like I talked about. Moving further along, Denver taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nikola Jokic priced at 12.6 in this game. You would think we'd want to pay up for him in our lineups because it's just going to be so easy to fit these guys in. However, it's only a 214.5 over-under, but it's a 6.5-point spread in favor of Denver. That is not nearly as high of a spread as I would have expected to be in this game, so that makes me a little bit more intrigued to play Nikola Jokic. Like I said, with all this value, Nikola Jokic, top fantasy point producer on the season, 1.82 DK points per minute. Absolutely ridiculous, the numbers that this guy can put up. I mean, like I said, we should be able to put him in our lineups very, very easily. We have an extreme amount of value, so it's going to be ridiculous here. No Michael Porter Jr., no Jamal Murray. Aaron Gordon's listed as questionable as well if he is indeed out. Jeff Green, Austin Rivers could see some more run, but obviously Nikola Jokic would get an even bigger bump up, and also Will Barton would get a big bump up as well. Similar to the Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton situation, it would become the Will Barton and Nikola Jokic show. So those two guys would become big priorities. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey continue to be the two candidates on the Oklahoma City side that are really carrying the team. So they have the two biggest pieces of upside if you're running it back with some pay-up options. Lou Dort in the mid-range is going to be a respectable option, playing in the mid to upper 30s per game. That's going to provide you with a lot of upside. And yeah, I think the pay-up options make perfect sense in this game if you want to go there. Last game on the slate, LA Clippers taking on the Sacramento Kings. We have another pay-up option in Paul George that, once again, is going to be very easy to fit in our lineups. And I have a feeling you're going to want to make a priority because it's that easy to get him in there. So this game, as far as a total, comes in with a 219.5 over under a 6.5-point spread in favor of the LA Clippers. And the Sacramento Kings really have not been that great defensively on the season, so I'm not worried about targeting them whatsoever. Halliburton on the other side continues to be a phenomenal play as well at 8-2. There's no De'Aaron Fox still, no Marvin Bagley, no Terrence Davis, no Alex Len, no Davion Mitchell if those guys continue to be out. Halliburton's assist rates and usage rate has been through the roof. He's been getting 10-plus assists a game, scoring over 20 points a game, really playing phenomenally across the board. Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield going to continue to get a lot of minutes, a lot of usage, so those two guys make a lot of sense as well. And if we do finally see Richaun Holmes return in this one, he's going to be an absolute smash play as well. So hopefully we do. If he continues to be out, it's going to be Maytu and Tristan Thompson. That's making up for that usage. Maytu producing at a very high rate becomes a phenomenal value play as well. Would much rather play Maytu over Tristan Thompson. Has consistently shown that he can show that upside. Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard, these guys that were putting up big numbers on the LA Clippers side of things, with Paul George returning, do take a big hit. They're priced up a little bit too much for my liking. So I don't think I'm too intrigued to be playing those guys on the LA Clippers side. I'd just much rather be paying up for a Paul George, using the value elsewhere on the slate that we talked about, and continuing. So there's an overall breakdown, guys. Looking over at FanDuel real quick, looking at some pricing discrepancies. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of the same with all of these injuries. It's going to be fairly obvious as to where we're going. Svi Mikhailiuk is only 3.6 over here. He grades out as a phenomenal value play on FanDuel. The greatest value on the slate for me. Just way too cheap. He's pretty much minimum salary. He's going to be forced into playing a ton of minutes with all these injuries on the Raptors. He's putting up 0.73 FanDuel points per minute. He's going to make a lot of sense. The same can be said for Udawanabe at the shooting guard position. He's putting up 0.86 FanDuel points per minute. Much higher fantasy point per minute producer. So if you want to pivot to him, that would make quite a bit of sense to me. And he's going to grade out as a phenomenal play. Once again, 4-3. Raptors team's completely depleted. He's going to be a tremendous value. Chris Boucher at 5-1. Another Raptor that's going to absolutely smash this price tag. I mean, he's probably like one of the top plays on FanDuel because he gets the blocks and steals as well. You get the 3 points for every block and steal. Chris Boucher could easily go out there and drop 50 tonight on FanDuel, so I like him a lot. We talked about Lauri Markkanen on the Cleveland side of things. He's only 4.9 on FanDuel. Once again, with this team being forced into playing these guys more because there's no Jared Allen, there's no Evan Mobley. I do think that Lauri Markkanen grades out as a high-risk, high-reward tournament play over here on FanDuel. DeLon Wright's only 4.7 on FanDuel. He's putting up 0.77 FanDuel points per minute, and there is indeed no Trae Young. Once again, a guy that can rack up a lot of steals very quickly on FanDuel. Definitely appealing to me on this slate tonight. Will Barton's only 5.7, especially if we get confirmation there's no Eric Gordon. He's going to become a tremendous value play. Paul George at 9.2 grades out as a great pay-up option for me on this slate. Like I said, I'm going to be prioritizing him as a pay-up option with all this value. Should be very easy to be fitting him in. So if you want to go ahead and pay up for guys on FanDuel, I do think that Paul George makes a lot of sense. I have a lot of interest in DeMar DeRozan as well. We talked about. I have a lot of interest in Chris Middleton as well. We talked about OG Anunoby. So yeah, this is going to be a crazy slate, guys. So much value. I think it's going to be about getting the right value pieces, the right pay-up options. It's going to come down to that simple. So I'd be focusing in on who produces at the highest fantasy point per minute rate and who's getting the biggest bump up in minutes. And if you become a Patreon member of mine, that should help you out in a big way. You head on over, you can use the spreadsheet. I have all that stuff dialed into my spreadsheet. And for my current patrons, take that advice to heart. Make sure you're dialing in the best value options, but make sure you're looking at that fantasy point per minute production, picking the guys that produce at the highest rate, locking them into your lineups and feeling pretty good about it. So, with that being said, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Chris Boucher. This Toronto squad dealing with all these injuries. This guy's a phenomenal fantasy point per minute producer. It really comes down to the minutes, and his minutes have been cut in a major way. I don't think they have an option but to give him a bunch of minutes tonight, and that's going to result in a big score for him. Putting up 1.02 DK points per minute on the season as far as FanDuel, 1.05 FanDuel points per minute. And if he's able to get anywhere near the upper 20s in minutes, even if he's able to get in the low 20s, he could get you there. But if he's especially expected to get in the mid-30s or 30-plus, he's going to absolutely smash at his price tag across the industry. So he is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Chris Boucher, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a second to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck on this slate tonight. And see you all later on the live stream, hopefully. If I don't, I will see you in the next one.